Hi, kindergartners. I am going to read a book with you today. The book is called Sheila the Brave. We're going to do a couple things before we get started. The first is I'm going to ask you a question, and that question is, when is a time that you felt scared? When is a time you felt scared? You can whisper your answer or share it with someone close to you. Great. In this book, Sheila is going to be scared. There's going to be a time that makes her scared, and we're going to watch what she does to feel better. A word we need to know for this book is the word familiar. Let's clap that together. Familiar. Let's count it. Familiar. 3 syllables in the word familiar. Familiar means it's something you know. My house is familiar because I know it. I've seen it many times before. The school is familiar to me because I've been there many times. I know it very well. Familiar. All right, before we get started, let's notice and wonder on the cover. Go ahead and notice. What do you see? Okay, go ahead and wonder. That means, what do you want to know? What's something you don't know yet? Great. Our good reader skill today is using the pictures and the words to help us know what's happening. Using the pictures and the words to help us know what's happening. Sheila the Brave by Kevin Henkes. Here's our title page. Sheila wasn't afraid of anything. And I'm noticing that the illustrator, Kevin Henkes, drew a spider and drew Sheila kissing the spider. I know that she's not afraid of spiders because this picture shows her kissing a spider. I see another kid in the picture with a face like this. And I can tell that this kid is very surprised that Sheila is kissing a spider. Sheila wasn't afraid of the dark. She wasn't afraid of thunder and lightning. And she wasn't afraid of the big black dog at the end of the block. At dinner, Sheila made believe that the cherries in her fruit cocktail were the eyes of dead bears, and she ate 5 of them. At school, Sheila giggled when the principal walked by, and when her classmate Wendell stole her jump rope during recess, Sheila tied him up until the bell rang. "I am very brave," Sheila said, patting herself on the back. Sheila stepped on every crack in the sidewalk without fear. When her sister, Louise, said there was a monster in the closet, Sheila attacked it. And she rode her bicycle no-handed with her eyes closed. "Yay, yay, Sheila!" her friends yelled, clapping their hands. One day, Sheila decided to walk home from school a new way. Louise was afraid to. "You're too brave for me," Louise said. "You're always such a scaredy cat," Sheila called. "Am not," whispered Louise. Sheila started off skipping. "I am brave," she sang. "I am fearless." She stepped on every crack. She walked backwards with her eyes closed. She growled at stray dogs, and bared her teeth at stray cats. And she pretended that the trees were evil creatures. She climbed up them and broke their fingers off. Snap, snap, snap. The words didn't tell me that Louise is with Sheila but the illustrator is showing me that even though Louise didn't want to walk home with Sheila I see Louise in the picture, and I'm thinking Louise is following Sheila Sheila walked and walked. She turned corners, she crossed streets. It suddenly occurred to Sheila that nothing looked familiar. That was our good reader word. Familiar means something you know. And this says that nothing looked familiar. Oh, that makes me think that Sheila is in a place she's never been before. She doesn't know this place. I'm wondering how you think Sheila Ray is feeling on this page. The author didn't tell us how Sheila Ray is feeling, but the illustrator is giving us some clues. I'm noticing Sheila Ray's head is tucked and her eyebrows are high. It makes me think that she might feel in the red or maybe the blue. Sheila Ray heard frightening noises. They sounded worse than thunder. The author hasn't told me how she's feeling yet, but I do see her face. She looks a little lower energy than she did before when she was saying, "I am brave." And I see her eyes again are very big and her mouth is very small. She thought horrible thoughts. They were worse than anything she had ever imagined. "I am brave," Sheila Ray tried to convince herself. "I am fearless." The sounds became more frightening. The thoughts became more horrible. Sheila Ray sat down on a rock and cried. "Help," she sniffed. Now I have a good guess about how she's feeling. She's crying, she's saying help. I think she's feeling really scared. She thought of her mother and her father and Louise. "Mother, father, Louise," she cried. The illustrator's giving me a clue again. I see Louise, even though Sheila Ray doesn't know that she's there. "Here I am," a voice said. "Louise!" Sheila Ray hugged her sister. "We're lost," Sheila Ray said. "No, we're not," said Louise. "I know the way home. Follow me." Louise stepped on every crack. She walked backwards with her eyes closed. She growled at stray dogs and bared her teeth at stray cats. And she pretended that the trees were evil creatures. She jumped up and broke their fingers off. Snap, snap, snap. Sheila Ray walked quietly behind her. The author's giving me a bit of a clue about how Sheila Ray's feeling. The author said, Sheila Ray walked quietly behind her. I know before Sheila Ray was singing to herself and she was baring her teeth at stray cats and growling at stray dogs. Right now, she's walking quietly behind Louise. That makes me think she's feeling lower energy. I'm wondering if she's still feeling scared. They walked and walked. They crossed streets. They turned corners. Soon their house could be seen between the trees. Sheila Ray grabbed Louise and dashed up the street. When they reached their own yard and the gate was closed behind them, Sheila Ray said, "Louise, you are brave. You are fearless." "We both are," said Louise, and they walked backwards into the house with their eyes closed. In that book, Sheila Ray feels really scared when she gets lost. Remember, there's the moment when she realizes that nothing looks familiar. My question for you today is, what helps Sheila Ray feel better? When she feels so scared, when she's lost, what helps her feel better? You can record your answer to that question on an audio comment on this activity. What helps Sheila Ray feel better when she's scared? We can't wait to hear your answers. Thanks, readers.